Hello and welcome, followers, subscribers and other racing fans. Well, I'm sad, I can tell you. Yesterday I made 2 videos, high quality videos from Bathurst with the Mercedes SLS, a setup 101 video and a track 101 video. And what happened? Rainy weather happened, storm happened. Both of these videos are gone. I don't know where. I guess the mighty hard drive god took them. They're just gone forever. 2 hours of work, no, 2 hours of recording, which includes even more work, are just gone. And with that, I can tell you we are doing something completely different today, as I already have the setup for the car on the track. I will just explain the setup I am using to you and then do the usual track 101. So we wrap up both things into one new thing. Yeah, it's just making the best out of this catastrophe. Why does this have to happen to me? I am not sure. Well, let's just start with a sunny or cloudy, hot, warm summer weather and try to do our best with that. So, hello and welcome again. We're doing a setup track 101 all in one. My setup for the Mercedes-Benz SLS AMG Gt3 on Bathurst. Unfortunately, I can't develop the setup with you because my video, as I said, my recording of the setup 101 got lost yesterday, and well, I can't do the setup 101 again because I already have this setup. Sorry for that. Okay, now let's start with explaining my setup I developed yesterday. It is, well, tire pressures as always. They are according to the tire temperatures you have on track. So if you're faster and have the summer weather, you might need lower tire pressures or higher tire pressures. Look at the tire temperatures. If they are too high, just increase the tire pressures a little bit so you get cooler tires, and also what is important at Bathurst, more top speed. Yes. We're going on brake pressure. I reduced it a little bit, I think, because the car was quite understeery under braking. Brake balance. Now I don't know what were the default settings for that. However, brake balance should be pretty neutral. On Bathurst you might need a more front biased brake balance because there are these downhill corners at the end of second sector, and too much rear balance does not help. Yeah. Brake ducts, I reduced the brake ducts a little bit from default, however not so much that it's totally important. This time not with 15% traction control slip, only 10%. because in some corners I use full throttle quite early, and that helps me to not lose the car. Good. Well, fuel how you need it. The brake mapping was on default, was on 6. I reduced it to 5. Usually I reduce it to the minimum to get more engine braking. However, on this track with this car, 5 is totally okay. It's almost too much turn in with off throttle situations, but it's nicely manageable. Yeah. Next, final drive. No chance to change anything on the gearing with the SLS. Well, the differentials were okay on default. I didn't change anything here. As well as the radiator. Temperatures on the car are quite on the high side. However, it's okay for short races. For a 1 hour, 2 hour race, maybe you need to open the radiator a little bit. Depends on how fast you are, how you are pushing in the race, and so on. Yeah. Bump stops, I think I reduced them by 5 millimeters, just for getting a little bit of more working way for the springs, you know. Fast bumps, I reduced them by 3 or 4 clicks. Quite important if you ask me. Bathurst is a really bumpy track, and the default dampers are quite stiff. Yeah. So fast bumps, important setting. Next one. Right height, I reduced it by 3 millimeters, I think, and in the rear by 5 millimeters to get a tiny bit of more rear grip. No, when the rear is lower, then it gets more grip because there's more weight on the rear. Springs, I think I reduced them by 2 clicks. And the front and the rear to have the same balance. Yeah, rear they are on the softest now. It's quite okay. I think the rear swaber was already at the softest, and I reduced it by 1 click in the front. It helped me also in the downhill corners to keep the car on track and not hit the walls too often. Yes. Steering ratio increased a little bit. I need a little bit of faster ratio in Bathurst because reaction times have to be short. There are walls, but you also need to be quite accurate. Yeah. So that's it. Camber angle, I tried with 0-0, you know, there's still this exploit happening. There might be a fix in the future. They are working on it. But at the moment you still gain like 10 kilometers per hour when you drive with lowest possible camber, and on tracks with that long straights like Bathurst you need to reduce it to 0, but I increased it a little bit to 0.2 again because I felt there was some turn-in bite missing, so I just increased the camber angle, okay? Good. Downforce 0-0. I already told you with the camber angle, it's the same principle. We need the top speed on this track. 0 front, 0 rear is crucial to get good lap times. You might want in the race For security, for safety, you might want to use 1 and 5 downforce. 2 and 10 is default, 1 and 5 is totally okay, but makes you slower on the lap. I didn't change the weight bias. I think it is totally okay how it is. If I would have to make some changes, some not so crucial, some very fine tuning on the balance of the car, I would use this. But no, I think it's totally okay for the moment. That's it for the setup. I will put it in the video description, a link to projectcarsetups.eu where you can see, print, read, copy the setup from. And that's it. Now we're gonna start and test the setup on track, and I will explain all the corners on the go. Okay? How will we do this? I will drive 4 laps, and the 4 laps I will try to tell you something. However, I won't be able to tell you everything, so I will start to use my fastest lap and explain it in detail in the replay. So maybe you just want to watch me driving 4 fast laps, and then you have to listen and repeat on the replay, because I will explain every corner there, and it's very important that you listen and look in detail. Okay? Okay. Off we go. This time I didn't forget to enable the telemetry for you. I just drove the 3 laps and I forgot it, so well, stupid me. Always watch the torque. If it's going down, it's time to shift up. Okay, now let's go. Fast lap.
Good job. That's a great start to the race.
Braking on the outside, a little late. However, hitting the apex and on the throttle again. Was quite okay. On the brakes a little bit too long there. Whoa. It was stupid. Hitting that wall unnecessary. Tires are quite hot. It's maybe a little bit late on the brakes there. And a little bit early here. However, lap time should not be too shabby.
You're on the final lap.
Oh, that was so stupid. I thought I got too much understeering, so I didn't I didn't go on the throttle as early as I usually do. A little bit rear spin on the rear. See the traction control working. Too early in the turn in. Didn't help at all. Oh, and hit the wall. Well, it cost me everything. And also got me 10% aerodynamic damage. So I will be slower on the straights now. If this happens to you in the race, just forget it. So this third lap was not good. I will take the second lap. And show you how it's done. Although this lap wasn't perfect too. Good. Now let's see the replay. View the replay. Adjusting the camera position to something useful. Just that. I will fast forward through the first lap because we don't need this. Wow, I'm fast. Do you see this? Okay, guys. Let's go. Fast lap, go. Important. You see that? Very, very on the right of this track. You can even get on the grass with 1 or 2 tires on the right. It's no problem. During the braking phase, be as right as possible. Now try to hit the apex. It's a 90 degrees corner, so try to hit the apex. Yeah, you see that? Brake to the apex. Now, off the brakes, I'm at the apex, and at this moment you should go on throttle again. Being on the right, on the very right, on the exit again. Wonderful. That corner is really, really, really important because it's followed by a straight, and you know, if you lose 2 km/h in the corner, you will carry it through the whole straight. So now I'm braking a little early. It's enough to brake at the 100-meter marker. I'm braking a little bit too early. However, more important, turning in quite early here, getting a little bit of oversteer, sliding into the corner and hitting full throttle before the apex. You have enough room at the exit of the corner. You see that? The car is going to the exit, but it doesn't matter. You have so much room. Braking, 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 braking. Full throttle. That's how it's done here. And the torque of this car is really important for the track, because now it's uphill and you are full throttle and it just accelerates like hell. Now what's important now? You have to go to the inside of this little bend before the actual corner. Maybe you can brake a little bit to stabilize the car. Not too much. Now the car is now in a straight line again, and now you can brake hard. Not too long. This corner is not as scary as it looks like. Turning in, and almost full throttle. A little bit of throttle here, and full throttle here. So again, on the left early. This is, by the way, third or fourth gear. It doesn't really matter, but fourth is better. Fourth gear, braking a little bit, braking hard, down to second gear, and on the throttle again, in second gear. Now, third gear. You are in third gear, you don't downshift, and you don't even brake. Maybe you hit the brake for like 1,000 of a second, but don't hit it for the corner, just for stabilizing the car. Third gear, don't miss to turn in. You have to turn in quite early. Really, really tight. You need to be very close on the wall, to the wall on the right. On the throttle again. Car gets a little bit destabilized on the exit here. But maybe you can go off throttle for 100 of a second, but not too much. You will lose too much speed there. So try to catch the car with the steering. Okay, we are now in fourth gear, and in the SLS this corner is not so scary. You can take much curb on the inside. You can take even more curb than I did here. You can take the full curb on the inside and just hit the throttle. It was very close with the wall here. If you take more curb on the inside, you're not that close to the wall. But that's just possible with the SLS. With the Aston, don't do this. Don't hit the curb there too much. Okay. Now what is important? Don't hit the right curb. The curb on the right here. You see that? I'm avoiding the curb. and go to the left early. Don't wait too long. I was too long on the right, you see, and I didn't hit the apex. Usually you should go to the left more here, left, left, left to the apex on full throttle, and then you are not in danger to hit, yes, off track here, which I did, which is quite dangerous because a little bit more and you're in the gravel trap, and that's really slow. Okay, full throttle, we are in 4th gear in the SLS and other cars in 5th gear. Braking as early as that, braking quite early. Now you're able to go to the inside of the corner and modulate the throttle and the brakes at the same time to stabilize the car. The car gets destabilized quite much here because it's down here, the car gets light and it's a turn. So stay on the brakes a little bit, but also apply throttle to not lose too much speed. That stabilizes the car and you can get through that in 3rd gear. Now down to 2nd. Now you have to brake hard. Oh, I just braked hard and it went backward. Here you have to brake hard. You are in 2nd gear and don't miss to turn in. Okay, 2nd gear. There's no magic around here. It's just there's only one line. Just follow the line as close as possible to the wall. 2nd gear, 2nd gear. Turn left. A little bit of throttle over the curb here and full throttle again. 2nd gear, 3rd gear. And now I think that corner is quite important. You can win 2/10 here if you do the following. You are in 3rd gear, you are braking for the corner just a little bit. Then you see here, you get off the brakes and apply a little bit of throttle for the next 50 meters. And you win 1 or 2/10 there. Then you're on the throttle again. Maybe I was a little bit early on the throttle here. Then on the brakes. Then you're on the brakes and you could go off brakes already. Yes. You need to be closer to the wall here. I was not close enough to the wall, so you can exit the corner with full throttle and you are on the straight. Very important corner because the long straight, as I told you with the first straight, be on the throttle early. Okay, this is full throttle, the right band. Now you have to see, don't brake too late. That's a mistake I always make in races. Don't brake too late. It doesn't pay off. I'm in 2nd gear here, full throttle again. You need to take this corner in full throttle. Maybe the rear comes around a little bit, then you have to counter steer like I did here. Okay. Now the same, don't brake too late, it doesn't pay off. Hit the curb, full throttle. You can use the cross on the outside here. It's very creepy. I don't know why, but it's creepy. So no problem if you're a little bit too much on the outside. You can use the cross there. Well, and that's it. That's full throttle to the finish. That's how you're doing 1 lap at Bathurst. It is not that easy. Bathurst is one of the hardest tracks we have in project cars, but it's not that hard as well. So I hope I could help you with that, and I hope to see you in the next video. What else to say? Nothing. So see you then and bye bye.